About the reunion.
Yeah, they're so slow at getting articles in there, and they don't seem to have their act together as far as.
You want another chair over there and put some stuff on?
I'm fine with it right here, and the frame of the photo here, or the image is going to be right here, so I'm looking forward to hearing exactly the history of this document.
Okay, well, submitted to the commander. And this is Major General Perry Griffith, who was Inspector General for Safety. And he was behind the program 100% because of accident rates reflecting alarming lack of knowledge of parachuting techniques among USAF crew members. And I'll give you some statistics from, this was back in the early 60s and late 50s. About the ejections, 183 during the year. And this just show our background. We did a lot of, this was back before the Golden Knights and back before the Blue Angels and back before any military parachuting clubs. So at air shows we used to jump as civilians. We'd be on orders and using military aircraft and jump as parachutists for the, as the precursor to the Blue Angels or the Thunderbirds. This is a couple of our jumpers. And this will be chiefly on the buddy system. And the buddy system is where we take a pilot or aircrew member has absolutely no parachuting experience, sit down with one of our highly skilled instructors and talk to them for about an hour on how to make an emergency parachute jump from high altitudes. And then back then we started teaching the stabilizing free fall method. Otherwise, before that, you just jumped out of the airplane and get over your back and tumble and spin and do all sorts of gyrations and run into trouble and wrapping up in the parachute when it opens and blacking out from centrifugal force and so forth. But this is the buddy system. The instructor guides the students through, well, we jumped 15,000 feet through 2 miles of free fall, hanging on the main lift web of his parachute and correcting all his mistakes he makes in body position until we get down to 2,500 feet, and then we have him pull the ripcord. If he doesn't pull it, we reach over and pull it for him, but that rarely happens on 250 people we put through. We rarely had somebody that did not immediately pull the ripcord when we told them to. It shows you holding on. People think it's difficult to hold on to somebody in free fall, but it's not. It's just like walking down the street. You're both going the same miles per hour. And of course we used our Cessna 180 to jump from, much cheaper than using military aircraft during the training. We were every time we jumped, we were on even as civilians, we were on military orders, although every one of our guys is former military. myself, Bob Sinclair, Kisa, guys that you met. There's General Griffith, I think he was 55, 56 years old, made 2 parachute jumps with us, did very, very well. And of course we got a little bit of PR on it from Herald Examiner in LA. And when the Inspector General sends out a Twix or a, what the hell you call them now, in email, I guess, he sent out a Twix to all the commands and said, we have this program going, you are invited to send some of your safety people to check it out. So various people sent people to go through of course, all of the general staff went through the parachute training, and not everybody was wowed about it. This is the flight surgeon, and he took a lot of meds before he went up to jump, which was the wrong thing to do. But anyway, that was our airplane at Elsinore. You will note that all our guys are very professional looking. They're all dressed in uniform. But this guy was head of aviation psychology at something you'd be interested in, at the University of Southern Cal. He went through. Office information. Guy was from Tactical Air Command. Air Defense Command sent people. F-106 guys. SAC sent people. These are all full colonels and up, and so you could see the importance. This guy was a double jet ace in Korea, but that just happens he happened to be director of safety for TAC. This guy had more combat missions than any other pilot in World War II, something like 3,000 combat missions in fighters. And we give him classroom instructions. Gotta remember, all of these guys are 50, 55 years old, all mature. And we put them through the whole shot that any civilian would go through. As you see, all our guys are in uniform, presenting a very professional appearance. Teach them dragging. We taught them everything they needed to know in a 2-hour course. You'll note we were using, this is our own invention, all this equipment, we were using center pull, so you didn't have any problem with somebody inadvertently activating a guy's reserve. Put it in the center where it was out of the way. But the Air Force never used it because they didn't invent it. We did. Okay, that is. Now we hedged it a little bit by, say, using 28-foot parachutes. We used 32s. So their landing shock was much softer, and we had no injuries at all. Of course, you know, you can't afford to break a leg or break an ankle of a test pilot. Okay, we went through all the paperwork. This is gonna be part of the background on that display I'm putting together, but we formed a company in 1959. Dave Burt, who came in from Alaska, Sinclair was from Alaska, and myself. This is Dave. He's a 82nd Airborne paratrooper, rigger, a master rigger for the Forest Service. A lot of background, a lot of experience, and an excellent jumper. This is Dave's background. Most of his backcountry stuff was in Alaska, but some in South America. Dave was the original president. I was VP, but I was director of operations, and I was in charge of all the programs that we put together. I was a former smoke jumper myself. Very, very good training. Sinclair, undoubtedly the best aerial photography we ever had. Did a lot of exhibition jumping. As you can see, there was actually was a hard hat diver before he got into parachuting. Former paratrooper. What we're trying to stress here is the experience we had, and we were certainly well qualified to do the training. This original parachuting for gold, dropping, that happens to be me, jumping into Kern River. Rough country, as you can see, not a very good DZ for a non-steerable flat circle. I was in a lot better shape back at that time. And Dave invented parascuba, where he jumped with full rig, full tanks, jumped from 30,000 feet, delay down to about 2,000, particularly at night, come in undetected and hit the water. As soon as you hit the water, you reach up and pop your cape wells back in. When we had cape wells on parachutes, get out of them quickly. We perfected this. The SEALs later on, I believe, took credit for it, but we were the guys that perfected it in the latter part of 50s. Of course, we had a certified parachute lock, did all our work, modified our work. General Griffith, Keeso, myself, a couple of our riggers, all proficient machine operators.
Where was the loft located?
Hollywood Boulevard. This is Sinclair working on our parascuba. We had twin tables, and we packed, of course, did packed reserves and everything for the civilians. And that was our location at Elsinore. That is a highly modified. I don't think we'd care to jump that now. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 gores out. And there's our... Did you ever jump at Elsinore?
I have.
Okay, well here's the hangars. That's a DZ. And that's our strip.
And you just had the one aircraft, the 150?
Oh no, we had a 180, 182, 172, a Howard, a DJA 15, and bring a C-47 in every now and then. And it was capable of landing on, taking off on that runway. We did a lot of jumping on a C-47.
And that's on Hollywood Boulevard?
Yep.
That's the location?
Had a lot of money back then. Brand new station wagon. And we ran the center. Like I say, all our guys were in uniform.
Mm-hmm.
This guy was a former captain in the Green Beret. You see everything gets modified with the first ripcord turned around backwards and so forth. The instruction back then, this was a lot of jumps. He had 310, Kiso had well over 500. Vernon had 810, he dead. Fryman was killed in North Vietnam. Good Marine, we had a lot of Marines work for us. Everybody was Army. Kiso was a Marine. This guy has something in common. He was a wing commander for the Brits. Hello? Yes? Yes? Okay. Okay, well, I'm here. Thank you. Our furnace repairman on his way. This guy was a wing commander. He represented the RAF when he went through with us. Good guy. We spent thousands of dollars on this program and all in vain. All went down the tubes.
Talking about the aerial photography part?
Well,
Or,
trying to get the program, trying to get the Air Force to accept the program. This guy's former photographer, Canadian Air Force. Good, really sharp guy. That's a good shot. Okay, we just unpacking. Show you how that thing comes off the back. That was a well-packed chute. This is back when aerial photography was really something. In, I'd say, the first aerial stuff was done about 59 or 60.
And Bob Sinclair had a hand in some of
Oh,
that?
he was not only the hand, I was his backup, and we developed all the photography stuff.
A seat pack.
Yeah, except as a reserve. We couldn't, with PCA, when we jumped with PCA rules, we couldn't jump without a reserve. So we dummied up a seat pack and put a 26 footer in the seat pack. And then when we jumped to heavy stuff, our regular F-104, 106 kit weighed 55 pounds. Sinclair wore the ripcord on his shoulder, so when he came in to pull, then he'd pull and then grab his head, because this is a small camera, but you see it's a lot of weight. The further you get from your neck, which is a fourth crowfoot, the tougher it is. He jumped cameras weighed 35 pounds without breaking his neck. These are pictures I pulled out for some reason. This is how we sold the named Ripcord to Ivan Torres for the Ripcord series.
Hmm.
Showed him where Ripcord was. Of course, he was a movie producer. He had no idea what the hell Ripcord was. This were the heroes of, this is MacGyver, and that was Jim Buckley from the Ripcord show. Myself.
So how did they pick up the show when they became interested in Hollywood? Was it
Well,
because-
we sold it. I sold it to Ivan Torres.
And did part of this RFP package?
Oh yeah, this plus film that we shot that just had, the big selling point was the filming somebody in free fall, somebody falling 120 miles an hour. No one had ever done that before, but we did it. We developed it. It was all, well, most of it, as director of operation, I have to take the credit for it, and I will, because nobody else knows it. We did a lot of PR. We had a lot of good PR people. Me. Even we sold it on safety to GE. You didn't realize that GE had test pilots?
No.
They made aircraft engines.
Mm-hmm.
They also made toasters, but also they had test pilots, so we put their test pilots through our school. Got a lot of, we got thousands of dollars worth of PR, but it didn't do us any good.
It didn't do any good with the Air Force?
No,
Hmm.
because they didn't invent it. When this particular jump, Sinclair almost killed himself. He was jumping out of a P-51 with the canopy off and stood up at 32,000 feet to get ready to jump, and his mask disconnected and he passed out. And a pilot turned it over and flew it upside down to about 22,000 feet and rolled him out. He was lucky he regained consciousness before. And this is a hoop jump we did inside the Coliseum. I got pictures of it here.
Explain what a hoop jump is, sir.
LA Coliseum, football stadium. We took a cable from a tower on one end to the other, built a hoop, this being the hoop, round hoop, put a 28-foot canopy on it with clothespins to hold it, pulled it up to about 85 feet, then dropped it. And it was a hoop jump, never been done before. We did it for a sports show. A photograph like that was priceless in 1960. You know, no one ever photographed anybody in free fall. There. He's wearing a seat back. With a backpack. There we go. Weighed 55 pounds. Lots of times we had to take all the stuff out of it and load it with sand so it'd be falling the same rate. That's where we came up with the use of wings, cloth extensions to slow you down. This, of course, is what's in the seat pack. There's a bag of all your survival stuff, and then there's a life raft and a cover, and the outside cover. When you bail out, of course you don't land with that seat pack. That's one thing we had to teach the guys to get rid of that thing. It'll break your legs, landing with 55 pounds on your butt. That's an excellent shot. But you can see this is going to slow you down in free fall, so your cameraman has got to have cloth extensions or something to slow him down.
You would think the Air Force would be excited about safety.
They were excited, but nobody wanted to make a decision to start a program.
Was it because the Air Force is mostly about pilots and parachuting really isn't a core business, or?
That was part of it. A lot of it was they didn't invent it. You know, they had airborne school. They were sending their guys through airborne school. Here you send a test pilot who's cost $1 million to train. You send them through airborne school with a bunch of 17-year-old hillbillies from North Carolina that run and jump and do push-ups and everything. You send this guy through the same training and you break his legs. That was a matter of safety, but we were unable to sell them on the idea. Okay, when we, for instance, I want to get some shots of
So now we're talking about the display and what kinds of things you want out of here.
Yeah,
for the
that's
display.
it.
Okay.
the way I see the display, and you know, I could be wrong. Let's chat about it.
Okay, I'm gonna take some notes here.